When an anxious person and an avoidant person meet, it never feels like a normal encounter. It feels like recognition, like something ancient stirring, like your nervous system whispering, "I know this," even if your mind doesn't understand why. The anxious person feels seen for a moment, not because the avoidant is emotionally expressive, but because the avoidant's calm presence feels like the safety they always chased and never received. The avoidant feels drawn in too, but in a quieter, more conflicted way. The anxious person's warmth feels soothing, disarming, almost like a home they didn't know they missed. And yet, in the shadows of that warmth, they also feel the faint, terrifying possibility of being truly known. This is the beginning of the magnetism. Two people whose wounds complement each other like opposite ends of a magnet. The anxious person unconsciously carries the belief that love means reaching, proving, earning, holding on tightly before it slips away. The avoidant person carries the belief that love threatens their sense of self, and closeness feels like a risk they are not equipped to survive. And yet, when they meet, their nervous systems synchronize, not in harmony, but in a pattern so familiar it feels fated. The anxious person leans in instinctively, sensing emotional depth, craving connection, wanting closeness that will finally soothe the ache inside their chest. The avoidant person leans back instinctively, not because they don't like the anxious person, but because the intensity feels like too much, too fast, and their body interprets that intensity as danger. But the avoidant also feels something else: fascination, intrigue, an inexplicable pull toward the anxious person's emotional aliveness. Avoidants suppress their own emotions so deeply that someone who feels openly, fully, freely becomes almost intoxicating to them. Anxious people, on the other hand, often feel unseen their whole lives. So the avoidant's quiet attention, those subtle moments of softness, the way avoidants listen, the way they observe, makes the anxious person believe they've finally found someone who gets them. And here is the twist. Both are right, in a way. Anxious people do bring emotional warmth that avoidants secretly crave. And avoidants do bring a sense of stability that anxious people desperately need. But the match is not healthy stability and healthy warmth. It's wounded stability and wounded warmth. The anxious person offers too much too soon. The avoidant offers too little too slowly. The anxious person senses the avoidant's emotional distance and interprets it as a challenge, as a wound to heal, as proof that if they just love harder, they will finally earn the love they never got growing up. The avoidant senses the anxious person's emotional intensity and interprets it as a threat, as pressure, as a reminder of the emotional chaos they had to shut down to survive their own childhood. Neither person is reacting to the present moment. They are reacting to old patterns wearing new faces. And this is why the bond feels so powerful and so impossible at the same time. It's not just attraction, it's reenactment. It's not just chemistry, it's unfinished emotional business resurfacing in the body. The anxious person feels an irresistible pull toward the avoidant because the avoidant resembles the emotional unavailability they've been trying to overcome their entire life. The avoidant feels an irresistible pull toward the anxious person because the anxious person resembles the emotional intensity they shut down long ago, but secretly long to feel again. They are drawn to each other because each represents the unresolved part of the other's story. The anxious person wants closeness to soothe the fear of abandonment. The avoidant wants distance to soothe the fear of losing themselves. But beneath that, both want the same thing: safe love. Love that doesn't disappear. Love that doesn't overwhelm. Love that doesn't demand they become someone else. This is why the beginning feels magical. Because in the spark of a new connection, both believe, maybe this time it will be different. The anxious person thinks, this person feels grounded enough to love me. The avoidant person thinks, this person feels warm enough to reach me. And for a moment, both are right. But as soon as the emotional stakes rise, the nervous system begins to interfere. The anxious person starts needing more reassurance. The avoidant person starts needing more space. The more anxious reaches, the more avoidant retreats. The more avoidant retreats, the more anxious panics. Each person's behavior activates the other's wound until the relationship becomes a dance of instinct rather than intention. And yet, neither can fully let go. Because anxious and avoidant pairings don't feel like random relationships. They feel like emotional destiny. They feel like the universe giving you one more chance to rewrite a story you didn't choose the first time. That's why the connection hits so deep, why the separation hurts so intensely, why even in silence, they still feel tied to each other. An anxious person sees the avoidant as the one they must hold on to finally feel worthy. The avoidant sees the anxious person as the one who might finally help them feel alive without demanding too much. Both assign unconscious meaning to each other. Both see the other as the key to unlocking emotional safety. And this is why they always match, not because the pairing is compatible, but because it is familiar. Because it mirrors the emotional conditions each person learned to survive. Because it feels like home, even if it hurts. And because the nervous system is always drawn to what it recognizes, not what is healthy. But the truth is this: anxious and avoidant matches are not doomed. They are simply unaware. Unaware of the wounds driving the attraction. Unaware of the patterns repeating themselves. Unaware that their reactions are not personal, they are protective. And the moment awareness enters, the moment one person pauses instead of reacting, the dance begins to shift. The anxious person breathes instead of reaching. The avoidant softens instead of withdrawing. And for the first time, the connection becomes something new. Not a cycle, not a wound, not a reenactment, but a possibility. If this helped you understand why you've loved the way you have, if it made something inside you loosen and exhale, you're not alone. You're not too much. You're not too sensitive. You're not hard to love. You're just learning the story your nervous system has been trying to tell you. Welcome back to Attachment Alchemy Lab.